Finally, I made it to Ipoh. 305 kilometers, one border crossing, multiple train, taxi, grab rides, and hours on the move. All completed within a single day. This journey started early in Dannok, the chaotic border town in southern Thailand. From there, I crossed the Sadao Dannok checkpoint, walked nearly 1 kilometer under the blazing heat towards Malaysia, Bukit Kayu Hitam immigration. I got my passport stamp and officially entered Malaysia. But this adventure was far from over. From the border, I took a taxi to Changlun, hoping to catch a direct bus south. No luck for me, so I take another grab ride to Arau KTM train station instead. From Arau, I boarded the KTM commuter train, heading south, transiting at Bukit Mertajam, before finally connecting another train bound for Ipoh. And after 7.5 hours of traveling, I am finally here. Ipoh is my final stop of this cross-border journey. And the timing couldn't be more dramatic. Earlier tonight, heavy rain hits Ipoh, so badly that even the iconic Ipoh Railway Station has water leaking from the ceiling into the lobby. While riding on the KTM commuter train, I have already booked my stay for tonight. The Makotel Hostel, Ipoh. After traveling more than 300 kilometers today, my only requirement was simple. Stay somewhere near Ipoh Railway train station. And Makotel Hostel is exactly what I needed. Just a short walk from the train station and right into the heart of Ipoh. I am a man with very little needs. Give me a decent bed and a convenient location, and I will be very satisfied. At first, I thought this would be another typical budget hostel stay. But the moment I step inside, I am genuinely surprised. This entire place has a very strong retro vibe. Vintage movie posters line the corridors. But reality sets in once I entered the dorm room. I see simple bunk bed, compact space, basic facilities. It is back to the usual hostel experience. After dropping my backpack at the hostel, tonight I have to maximize my time here in Ipoh. I take a 6 ringgit grab ride into Taman Pertama to visit First Garden Night Bazaar, one of Ipoh's biggest and most famous night market. First Garden Night Bazaar is only held on Friday nights. With around 200 stores spreading across multiple streets, the heavy rain earlier has made me wonder whether the market would even still open. But thankfully, tonight is still operating, just much quieter than expected. I end up loving the atmosphere here. The market feels raw, chaotic, and authentically local. There seems to be no proper organization between the food stores and the retail stores over here. But compared to the tourist-heavy night markets in Kuala Lumpur or Penang, First Garden Night Market feels far more local and nostalgic. There is no fancy neon light, no purposely created Instagram food stores, just smoky air, noisy crowd, and old-school Malaysian Pasar Malam vibe. Food is still the main attraction here. As you walk through the markets, the smell of fried street food fills the air. Asam laksa, popiah, oyster omelette, lok-lok, Taiwanese fried chicken, stinky tofu, apam balik, and fresh fruit juices all packed into one giant neighborhood night market. In Singapore, we call this snack Jiang Kueh. In Malaysia, many people call it apam balik or Jiang Kueh. It is a popular old-school pancake snack filled with crushed peanuts, sugar, and margarine. The Jiang Kueh is freshly made, crispy on the outside and soft in the inside. Fried carrot cake is a popular Southeast Asia hawker food made from steamed radish, and it is stir-fried with eggs, garlic, and preserved radish. Despite the name, fried carrot cake contains no carrot. This uncle fried his carrot cake so fragrant and so wok-fried that it instantly made me salivate. And it has the longest queue among the stores I visited. Muah Chee or mochi is a soft, chewy Southeast Asian street snack commonly found in Malaysia and Singapore night markets. It is made from steamed glutinous rice dough, cut into bite-sized pieces, and coated with crushed roasted peanuts and sugar, sometimes with sesame for extra flavor. First Garden Night Bazaar in Ipoh is largely a Friday market, selling mainly takeaway street food and daily goods. Because there's no dining table, you ended up eating while walking. And that limits what you can comfortably buy. Usually, food items that you can carry in one hand, especially since you may have to hold your camera on the other hand as well. I ended up having to grab different food from different vendors while managing the walk and eat experience. I found a Laksa store with ample tables and chairs. I asked to borrow the store's table so I can finally eat properly, instead of walking and juggling my food with my camera. The Laksa store owner agrees. I finally get to sit down and try a proper bowl of this beloved Southeast Asian dish. Laksa is a fusion of Chinese noodle tradition and Malay spices. But more importantly, I can take the opportunity to sit down, lay out all my food, and actually enjoy the meal. Once I settle in, the food completely delivers. The food is simple, comforting, and incredibly satisfying. It felt so good that it made everything worth it. Will I come back again? Honestly, unlikely. While I enjoy the rustic nature of this night market, I do not really enjoy eating takeaway while walking, especially with the limited seating and tables at First Garden Night Bazaar. This whole bringing my food along while walking makes the whole experience inconvenient. Having to juggle food, camera, and the risk of getting my food cold. I would rather enjoy a proper sit-down hawker center experience. The heavy rain earlier also meant many stores didn't open. And those stores that opened closed earlier than usual. Still, I'm glad I come to experience this very local, unpolished night market. It feels very refreshing compared to the more commercial night market elsewhere.
Okay. That's all.
In the end, I call a Grab back to my hostel and have my supper there instead of the food I bought from the night market. Good morning from Ipoh. I still have a few hours left before I need to pack up and head to the airport. The Concubine Lane in Ipoh is a historical 100-meter lane in the Old Town. This lane is known for its pastel color shophouses, cafe, street snacks, and souvenir shops. It is one of Ipoh's most popular tourist attractions. But it can get very crowded during the day. So early morning are more peaceful for me. Personally, over the years, it has gotten a little too many people for me. And I ended up walking along the lane when it is very early in the morning, while people are still in their sleep. Concubine Lane is a must visit if you happen to be in Ipoh. I have been to Ipoh 2 times and walked the lane both times. On this trip, I revisited the Concubine Lane on purpose while I'm heading to Nam Heong coffee shop. You see, I've missed this Nam Heong coffee shop during my previous visits. This time round, it will be my personal must-do KPI for me. So I make sure I come early before the crowd and enjoy the food at a much calmer pace. Yes, Nam Heong Coffee Shop. Nam Heong Coffee Shop in Old Ipoh Town is a historic kopitiam. This well-known kopitiam is famous for being one of the birthplace of Ipoh famous white coffee. 俾我叉燒包同埋蛋撻。嚇？1. Nam Heong is also well known for dim sum too, like the char siu bao and egg tarts. Okay. During my visit, I managed to get a seat despite the Saturday crowd, and that's the advantage of solo dining. The char siu bao is excellent with rich caramelized filling. The egg tart is flaky but a little mild in flavor. I saw the hawker frying the Char Kway Kak, and I was drawn into it. The Char Kway Kak is solid, especially with the crunchy prawns. Although I find the portion given a little bit too small. As for the white coffee, which I come mainly for, this white coffee carries a lot of hype as Ipoh's signature drink. However, it didn't fully meet my expectation and felt more average than memorable. The kopi, egg tart and char siu bao cost 8 ringgit, and the char kway teow cost 9 ringgit. I find the food experience here stronger than the coffee experience. Walking out of Nam Heong coffee shop, I unexpectedly come across a well-known social media calligrapher at work and managed to catch a quick glimpse of him in action. On my way back to the hostel, I passed by the Concubine Lane again. At this hour, it is already starting to get busier, as I can see more tourists arriving after their breakfast. These tourists are likely to begin their sightseeing around Old Ipoh Town. I've just done my checkout, so now walking towards the new part of the city. Looking at my changed attire, you would have known that I have gone back to my hostel, changed and checked out. This time round, I avoided the now crowded Concubine Lane and chose to take the quieter outer streets out of Old Town Ipoh instead. The shop houses outside the Concubine Lane still very much retain the century-old facade, without any renovation, and some of the traditional trades are still carried out inside. But many other trades are still left alone for years. Possibly, these houses are waiting for some kind of revitalization to take place here. Some of this revitalization are evidenced by the big wall murals splattered around the old town. Crossing the bridge from Old Ipoh Town leads into the newer side of the city. This is where Gerbang Malam night market is located. Unlike First Garden Night Bazaar, which I visited last night, Gerbang Malam runs daily in the evening and stays active into the night. During daytime, however, Gerbang Malam may not have the buzz or crowd that we see at night. However, you can find the most famous Ipoh food sold here in Gerbang Malam. It seems many food are open during lunchtime.
你们几点开呀？11点啊。
Instead of hanging around the hot sun, I walked to another famous dessert drink store, Funny Mountain Soya Beancurd, to wait out the timing. Because of the karst landscape, Ipoh is famous for its waters, which is said to produce a lot of derivatives from it. And soya bean is just one of them. And Funny Mountain Soya Beancurd is just one of the well-known store among the many of them. There is even a dedicated queuing system here. There are no dining facilities, so I'm using the makeshift table outside the store to have my food. I order a cup of soya milk and beancurd to go. The beancurd is smooth and the soya milk delicious. The entire meal cost 6 ringgit. I finally tried the famous Wong bean sprout chicken. In my previous trip, I passed by Wong 2 times before, but the queue is always too long. So this time, I purposely arrived early and even become one of their first customer of the day.
OK， 可以啊，先坐先好。因为我赶着搭飞机嘛，然后，好的。
He quickly ushered me in when I told him I have a plane to catch later. This is the classic chicken set that comes with bean sprouts, kampong chicken, and hor fun. The bean sprouts are the highlights. These sprouts are short, thick, and juicy. It is incredibly crunchy, a signature of Ipoh mineral-rich water. The chicken, however, is lean and a bit too bony for my liking, especially since I preferred the boneless chicken cuts. The hor fun is smooth but slightly clumpy. That's a real pity. Overall, the meal is decent, especially the bean sprouts, and costs 20 ringgit. By the time I finish the restaurant, it is already packed with people. And that's when you know this place is truly popular. I am flying home from Ipoh, the final leg of my Indo-China trip. I booked a Grab car from the Old Town to Sultan Azlan Shah Airport. And the ride takes me out of the heritage district and straight into the quiet residential estate. I am a little skeptical at first, thinking the airport must be far away. But before I know it, I see the signage and realize that the airport is insanely closed. The Ipoh airport is just 5 to 7 kilometers from the city center. And the Grab ride costs only 9 ringgit. It is even cheaper than my taxi ride from Bukit Kayu Hitam to Changlun. What shocked me more is the timing. I originally planned for an hour, but the entire journey just takes about 8 to 10 minutes. Ipoh Airport is basically right next to the city, which makes this place feel incredibly convenient for short trips. Sultan Azlan Shah Airport in Ipoh feels more like a neighborhood-style airport. It is simple, slightly dated, but cozy and highly functional, with just the check-in area and waiting space.
Okay, thank you. By the way, where's the departure call? Okay, got my ticket.
The staff is friendly and helpful. It feels like a Alostar airport I've been to months ago. There are no air bridges, so passengers walk across the plane parking lot to board the plane. The plane finally takes off and heads towards home. Thank you for following this journey all the way till the end. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a like and drop a comment below. It really helps this channel grow and keeps video like this going. And if you have not subscribed yet, consider subscribing so you won't miss my next travel adventure. I am heading back home to Singapore, marking the end of this Indo-China journey. Until the next trip, I'll see you in the next destination.